there, and welcome to Hanna's Cat Stretch. A quick reminder before we start that you take part in these videos at your own risk. And also a reminder that in somatic movement we never move into pain. So if something hurts, simply do a little less. We're working with your brain and your nervous system, and it's really important that your brain and nervous system feel safe. They control the level of tension in your muscles. So that's not just tension as in aching and pain, that is also to do with the level of flexibility that you've got. So the more you can release through your brain and nervous system, the more options you have for mobility, flexibility, and the more you can learn to recognise and release tension. As always, we will start with a quick body scan, and then we'll finish with a quick body scan. This is because your brain and nervous system learn through comparison. So bringing yourselves down to the floor. Remember, if you need something under the back of your thighs to release the pressure in your low back or your knees, pop a cushion, some blocks, whatever you've got, rolled up towel underneath the thighs. Otherwise, coming down to the floor. Allow your legs to lengthen out, your eyelids to close down. And just take a few nice, long, slow, deep breaths. If you can, breathing in through the nose. And then blowing out through the mouth. Each exhale completely emptying your body of air. And then just allow your awareness to move into your body and sense how things are for you right now in this moment. So noticing any areas of tightness and tension, any areas of softness and space. Noticing which parts of your body connect with the earth and those that don't. So maybe one side of your body feels heavier, one side lighter. Just be curious about this. What you're feeling right now is an echo of how you stand and move throughout your day. So this is how you subconsciously hold your body. Noticing the areas that don't meet the earth, the areas that do. And following these points of connection with the earth from the back of your skull, all of the way down through the back, the ribs, the pelvis, legs, and into your heels. As you just take a moment to notice the weight of each heel into the earth. So maybe one feels heavier, one feels lighter. That's fine. No need to change anything at all. All you're doing is mapping yourself from within. And then allowing this side-to-side awareness to move into the feet. What can you sense and feel in the arches of the feet, the balls of the feet and the toes? What can you feel deep within the bones of the feet and the joints of the ankles? Through the calves, the shins, and into each knee. And then just being curious about the space between the back of each knee and the floor. And noticing whether that's the same or different side to side. And if it is different, how does that relate to what you can feel in the knee? Maybe it relates to the whole of the leg. So just fine-tuning your awareness. And allowing your awareness to move into the backs of the thighs, into the joints of your hips, and into your pelvis. As you just take a moment to notice the weight of each side of your pelvis into the earth. Does one side feel higher, one side lower, one side heavier, one side lighter? Remember, there's no right, no wrong, no good, no bad. We're just fine-tuning our inner awareness. And then moving your awareness to the sides of your waist, as you notice the distance between each side of your waist and the floor. And then the relationship between the whole of your low back and the floor. And allowing your awareness to move on up into the ribs, into the left shoulder blade, right shoulder blade, and then to the tops of the shoulders. So just being curious about the distance between the top of the shoulders and the floor. And maybe, like the pelvis, one side might feel higher than the other. So just taking all of this in. And allow your awareness to melt down through the arms, past the elbows, through the wrists and into the palms of the hands. As you notice the sensations in the palms of the hands and the tips of the fingers, and the length and weight of each arm into the earth. Then allowing that awareness to softly drift back up, back past the elbows, back to the top of the shoulders. From the top of the shoulders, gently sensing into the curve in the back of your neck. Noticing the length on either side of your neck. Is one side longer? Is one side shorter? And then noticing how your head has arranged itself on the earth. The weight of the head. Has the head fallen to one side or the other? And then softly scanning the whole of your body. Noticing right now which parts of your body meet the earth. And any parts that might be resisting gravity. So just taking that quick before snapshot of you laid right here on your mat. Then when you feel ready, bending the knees, bringing the feet to the floor, hip distance apart. We're going to interlace the fingers and bring the hands to the back of the head. Your elbows will be wherever they land. So for some of you, they could be down on the floor. For some of you, they might be here. Wherever they are, that's fine. We're going to start with the movement of the pelvis. So as you inhale, I'd like you to roll forwards over the pelvis. So tilt your tailbone down into the floor. This is going to cause the low back to arch and your belly to move towards the ceiling. As you exhale, can you slowly release the back into the floor? Tilt back over the pelvis so the top of your pelvis presses into the floor. Your tailbone will lift up towards the ceiling, but the pelvis stays on the floor at all times. So the inhale arches the low back. Roll forwards over the pelvis. Tailbone tilts down. Sense the low back contract and the belly expand. As you exhale, the low back presses into the floor. Gently press with your tummy muscles. Lengthen further through the lower back. So just exploring this movement for yourself. Warming up the joints, the muscles, and also waking up those neuromuscular connections. As you move, what can you feel? Does one side of your back lead the movement and the other follow? And if it does, what can you do to change this? As you move, are you starting to sense any movement further up through the rib cage and into the head? The next time the back comes down to the floor, just settle there a moment. Take a breath in, a breath out, and just let go. Now we're going to look at the movement of the rib cage, the shoulders, and the skull. So as you inhale, wherever your arms are, I would like you to think about them moving out towards the sides of the room and pressing down into the floor if you can. Sense your shoulder blades squeeze in and down on the spine and allow your chin to tilt up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, elbows are going to squeeze tightly into the side of the head. Notice how this lifts the head off the floor, maybe only about a centimetre, a couple of centimetres, an inch. And then the inhale is slowly going to allow the head to come back, Press down with the elbows, shoulders squeeze in and down on the spine. Chin tilts towards the ceiling. Exhaling, elbows squeeze tightly into the side of the head. Notice contraction into the front of the chest. So this is what makes your head light. The front of the body lifting the head. You slowly release that contraction to bring the head back down. Inhale, exhale, let go. So now bringing those two movements together. As you inhale, I'd like you to arch through the spine, tilt your chin towards the ceiling, shoulder blades squeeze in and down on the back, the whole of the back body contracted, length through the whole of the front. As you exhale, elbows squeeze tightly into the side of the head, the low back presses into the earth, and you come into that tiny sit-up. At the top, notice the contraction in the front of the body, and then as you start the inhale, how slowly can you release through the front of the body to bring your head back down to the floor. The inhale will complete with the arch, contraction in the back body, length through the front. So your eyes are closed and you are focusing on how your body makes this movement. What's contracting? What's lengthening? Remember, it's not about how far you come up. In fact, if you come up so far that you're shaking, you've gone too far. We keep these movements within an easy range. It's more about quality and control. How slowly can you move? The next time your head comes down, allow your legs to lengthen out. Take a moment's awareness. Are you longer? I've grown, my feet are now off the edge of the rug. So just take a quick moment to notice what's changed, what's different, just in those small movements. How much space and length have you created? Then when you feel ready, rolling over onto your front. Your left arm is going to rest down by your side. Right arm will be bent. Your left cheek is going to rest on the back of the right hand. The left cheek and the right hand stay together throughout the whole of this movement. We're going to take an inhale and an exhale before we start. And then on your next inhale, you're going to lift the head, the right arm and the left leg, sensing a diagonal contraction from the right shoulder down to the left hip. As you exhale, how slowly can you come down? Can you bring the head and the foot down at the same time? Doesn't matter if not, it's all about reconnecting, building control. At the bottom, take an inhale and exhale, completely let go. On your next inhale, lifting again. Try and keep the front of that left shoulder into the floor. As you come down, slowly releasing the muscles of the back body from the center out. Nice big deep breath in, a deep breath out, let go. One more. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to lower. Then switching sides. So your right arm now down by your side. Your right cheek on the back of the left hand. Take that inhale and exhale before we start. Then when you're ready, lifting the head, left arm, right leg. Keep that right shoulder down into the floor. As you exhale, slowly lower back down. The inhale lifts. Sense that contraction into the back body. Sense length through the front. As you exhale, how slowly can you release the muscles of the back body to bring the head, the arm and the foot back down to the floor. Is it easier on this side or is it harder? One last one. Nice big deep breath in, deep breath out, just let go. Make a little pillow with your hands. And just take a few deep breaths here. And when you feel ready, rolling onto your left hand side. So your left arm is going to come straight out from the top of the shoulder. If you can't do this, it's fine to bring the hand out in front and just pop a pillow or a cushion underneath your head. But if you can, your head will be resting on your left bicep. The knees are bent at 90 degrees to the hips, and then the feet are at 90 degrees to the knees. I'm going to take the right arm, we're going to wrap it around the top of the head so your fingertips are touching the top of the left ear. We're going to take an inhale before we start, and then as you exhale, the knees stay glued together. You're going to lift your head, right arm, right foot, calf and shin. So you're going to contract into the right side of the body. Notice length in the left side, particularly through the left side of the neck. As you inhale, you slowly lengthen all of those contracted muscles in the right side of the body to come down. At the bottom, can you breathe a little more into the top of the ribs and think about moving your ribs and pelvis apart to create more space? Can you see that this creates a small contraction in the left side of the body? So the exhale lifts you up, the inhale lowers you down. Always with these movements, your awareness on which muscles are contracting, which muscles are lengthening. So we're going to do one more. Exhaling to come up. Inhaling to come down. How slowly and smoothly can you move? And you're going to allow yourself to roll over onto your back. Allow your legs to lengthen out. And take a nice, soft, smooth, deep breath. And as you exhale, just let go. So just taking a quick moment of awareness, a learning moment. A moment to notice the difference between the side of the body that you've worked and the side of the body that you're yet to work. So noticing how the right hand side of your body meets the earth. Noticing the points of connection, lengthen the weight of the right leg, lengthen the weight of the right arm. Noticing how your breath is moving into the right side of the ribs. So we've worked into the muscles in between your ribs, your intercostals. These muscles can become really tight, particularly if you're a shallow breather. So we're creating space to breathe. Then when you feel ready, rolling over onto your right hand side. You can just roll over. I'm going to switch so that you can see what I'm doing. So once again, right arm coming out from the top of the shoulder if that feels okay for you. Knees are bent at 90 degrees to the hips. Your feet will be at 90 degrees to the knees. Your left hand is going to come around the top of the head. Your eyelids will be closed. Take a breath to allow yourself to settle. Take an inhale before we start, and then as you exhale, the head, left arm, left foot, calf and shin lift towards the ceiling. Remember, the knees stay glued together. Notice contraction into the left side of the waist, the left ribs. What can you feel in your left glutes? Slowly release all of that to come back down. Can you be curious about this movement? Can you notice where you might lose control? Does it become jerky? Can you slow it down a little more to get control? At the bottom, inhale, make more space between the ribs and the pelvis on the top side of the body, and sense a gentle contraction into the low waist. The exhale brings you back up. Can you sense contraction into your adductors, so the muscles in between your legs, into your groin, the front of your belly, as your hip rolls forwards? The inhale, slowly, slowly, slowly. How slowly can you go? Brings the foot and the head back down. And the inhale completes by making more space between the ribs and the pelvis. The exhale brings you back up. So each time, just challenging your awareness. What can you sense? What can you feel? I'm keeping these movements to 4 on each side because we're short for time on the video. But once you get used to these movements, I encourage you to just do what feels right for you. So let your body lead the movement. It might be that you feel that you need to do more on one side than the other. But just do what feels right. When you've done your 4, allow yourself to roll back onto your back body. Allow your legs to lengthen out, your arms to rest by your sides. Take a nice, soft, smooth breath. And just allow yourself to rest. Resting in effortless awareness. Allow the breath to reset. Then bringing our right hand to the back of the head. Bending the knees, bringing the feet to the floor, hip distance apart. Diagonal arch and curl, quite similar to the first movement. I'd like you to remember that just like the first movement was not a regular sit-up, this isn't a regular diagonal crunch. So as we inhale, I'd like you to allow your head to turn to the right. Your right shoulder is going to press into the floor. Your right shoulder blade is going to squeeze in and down on the spine towards the left hip. You're going to sense a diagonal contraction from the right shoulder to the left hip. As you exhale, the head is going to come back to center. You're going to release the low back. Your elbow is going to squeeze tightly into the side of the head. This will make the head light. And then your right elbow is going to come towards the left knee. You're going to sense a diagonal contraction into the front of the body. As you exhale, as you inhale, you're going to slowly bring the head and the foot back down. And the inhale is going to complete with the arch of the spine. Right shoulder presses into the floor, left hip presses into the floor. Your right hip will be light. Notice contraction in the back body, diagonal lengthening through the front. The exhale allows the head and the back to come back to the floor. The exhale completes with a crunch. How slowly can you come out of this? Can you really control the muscles in the front of the body? Can you sense them lengthening? And then as the back body arches, can you sense them lengthening further? The exhale releases the low back into the floor, head comes back to centre. Exhale completes with the diagonal crunch, contraction in the front body but length in the back. When your head and your foot come back down, release the right arm, leave the knees and the feet where they are. Take a breath to reset. Then switching sides, so your left hand behind your head. As you inhale, you're going to turn the head to the left. The top of the left shoulder will press into the floor. Left shoulder blade's going to squeeze in and down on the spine, and your right side of the pelvis will press into the floor. Diagonal contraction from the left hip to the right pelvis. The exhale lowers the back into the floor, the head comes back to centre. Left elbow squeezes into the side of the head. And then the exhale completes, bringing your left elbow towards your right knee. The inhale starts by slowly releasing everything that's contracted to bring your head and your foot back down. The inhale will complete with the arch, left shoulder blade squeezing in and down on the back, right hip pressing into the floor. Exhaling, left shoulder to right knee. So with all of these movements, I'd like you to really notice, is there a difference side to side? Is it really easy on one side and really difficult on the other? And if it is, what can you learn? What can your body learn one side to the other? Can you break these movements down and notice where the movement stops? Where does it become difficult? Where do you lose control? And can you iron that out by moving slowly, smoothly? Can you reconnect with those muscles that are not quite working as well? Now keep the feet and the knees where they are. Allow your arms to come straight out to the side, so you're like a scarecrow. Your right palm is going to face the floor, the left palm will be facing the ceiling. We're going to take an inhale, an exhale. Then as we inhale, I'd like you to allow your knees to roll to the right and your head to turn to the left. As you exhale, gently contract the muscles of the tummy, bringing the knees and the head back to centre. Your arms are going to start to rotate. The inhale is going to allow the knees to fall to the left, the head to turn to the right. Your arms will have rotated. Your right palm will now be facing the ceiling. Your left palm will be facing the floor. Exhaling, gently contracting the tummy muscles to bring the knees back, the head back. Inhaling, arms rotating, head and knees going in opposite directions. So your knees will always be on the side where the palm faces the floor. Your head is always looking to the palm that faces the ceiling. Inhaling to drop the knees. Can you inhale into the space, into the top side of the body? Exhaling, gently contracting through your core, and that's not just your tummy, it's through your back as well. Inhaling, allowing the knees and the head to roll. How much space can you find here? Are you rolling your arms from the shoulder blades? So can you sense your shoulder blades moving on the back? Or are you just rolling your arms in the arm socket? So make sure that you've got movement all of the way from your tailbone to the base of your skull. Through your rib cage, can you sense the shoulder blades freeing up on the back of the body? When the head and the knees come back to centre, allow your legs to lengthen out. Take a moment to notice where your arms are resting. And
if this feels good for you, then just stay here. If you feel the need to shuffle, then have a quick shuffle. But then allow everything to just settle into the earth. Allow the breath to settle. And just take a moment to notice now where your breath is moving. Have you found more space to breathe? More space to live? More space to soften? And then noticing the parts of your body that connect with the earth. And following these points of connection from the back of your skull, all of the way down through the back body and into the heels. As you notice the weight of each heel into the earth. You notice now what you can sense and feel through the arches of the feet, the balls of the feet and the toes. What you can feel deep within the bones of the feet and the joints of the ankles. Through the calves, the shins and into each knee. As you just take a moment to notice the distance between the back of each knee and the floor, and to notice if anything's changed. Is anything different? And allowing your awareness to move into the thighs. As you sense the backs of the thighs into the earth, the temperature of the air on the tops of the thighs. And noticing any new awareness, any new sensation deep within the bones of your thighs, deep within the joints of your hips. And then noticing once more how each side of your pelvis meets the earth. Noticing any sense of softness and space in the front of the pelvis, the front of the belly. Noticing the distance between the sides of your waist and the floor. The relationship between the whole of your low back and the floor. And just noticing, has anything changed? Is anything different? And allowing your awareness to move into the ribs. As you sense each side of your rib cage as it meets the earth. You notice what you can sense and feel in the left shoulder blade, the right shoulder blade. And then into the tops of the shoulders. As you just take a moment to notice the distance between the top of the shoulders and the floor. Noticing any sense of softness and space throughout the whole of the rib cage. Any sense of space across the front of the collarbones. And then noticing the length and the weight of each arm into the earth. As your awareness drifts down past the elbows, through the wrists and into the palms of the hands. And you notice the sensations in the palms of the hands and the tips of the fingers. And then softly allowing your awareness to move back up through the wrists, through the elbows, to the top of the shoulders. And then from the top of the shoulders, gently sensing into the curve in the back of your neck. Noticing the length on either side of your neck and the weight of your head into the earth. And then softly scanning the whole of the body. Noticing right now which parts of your body meet the earth. And any parts that might still be resisting gravity. And just seeing if you can softly breathe into these places. And as you exhale, can you give them permission to release, to let go? And then just resting here, following each effortless inhale And each soft, smooth exhale. Inhaling awareness. Exhaling, bathing in sensation. So just giving yourself some time to rest here. There's no rush. Stay here as long as you wish.